चक्षुर् उन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथं तं वितं साजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च श्री हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चना गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी परमामि हरिप्रिये वञ्चकल्पतरुभयश्च कृपा सिन्धुभयैवश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नमिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधार श्रीवसादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna Mataji, can start from text 32, please.
Yes. गुणात्माकनिन्द्रियाणि भूतादि प्रभव गुणः मनः विक्रात्मा बुद्धेर्विज्ञानरूपिणी.
The sense organs are attached to the modes of material nature, and the modes of material nature are products of the false ego. The mind is subjected to all kinds of material experiences, happiness and distress, and the intelligence is the feature of the mind's deliberation.
एताद् भगवतो रूपं स्थूलं ते व्यवहृतं माया मयि अधिभिश्च वैर्णैरस्तभिर्बाहिरवृतम्.
Thus, by all this, the external feature of the personality of Godhead is covered by gross forms, such as those of planets, which were explained to you by me.
अतः परं सुखास्मात्मम् अव्यात्कं निर्विशेषणम् अनादिमध्यानिधनं नित्यं वन्मनसा परम्.
Therefore, beyond this gross manifestation is a transcendental manifestation, finer than the finest form. It has no beginning, no immediate stage, and no end. Therefore, it is beyond the limits of expression or mental speculation, and is distinct from the material conception.
अमुनि भगवत रूपे माया ते हयनुवर्णिते उभि अपि न गृह्णन्ति मया सृष्टे विपश्चितः.
Neither of the above forms of the Lord are just described unto you from the material angle of vision, is accepted by the pure devotees of the Lord who know him well.
सवाचा वचा कथया भगवान् ब्रह्मरूपधरक् नामारूपक्रिया दत्ते सकर्मकः परः.
He, the personality of Godhead, manifests himself in a transcendental form, being the subject of his transcendental name, quality, pastimes, entourage, and transcendental variegatedness. Although he is unaffected by all such activities, he appears to be so engaged.
प्रजाप्रतिन् मनुन् देवान् ऋषीन् पितृगणान् पृथक् सिद्धचरणगन्धर्वान् विद्याधुरगुह्यकन् किन्नराप्सरसो नागान् सर्पान् किं पुरुषान् नरान् मातृरक्षः पिशाचाश्च प्रेतभूतविनायकान् कुसुमा कुसुमान्दोनो मदा वेतालान् यतूदनान् गणान् अपि कागान् मृगान् पशून् वृक्षान् गिरीन्द्रपा सरीसृपान् द्विविधाश्चतुर्विधे येने जलस्थला नाभा कक्षा कुशला मिश्रा कर्माणं गत्यत्व इमः.
O King, know from me that all living entities are created by the Supreme Lord according to their past deeds. This includes Brahma and his sons like Daksha, the periodical heads like Vaivasvata Manu, the demigods like Indra, Chandra, and Varuna, the great sages like Brigu, Vyas, and Vaisista, the inhabitants of Pitralok and Siddhalok, the Charanas, Gandharvas, Vidyaharas, Asuras, Yakshas, Kinnaras, and angels, the serpentines, the monkey-shaped Gimpurushas, the human beings, the inhabitants of Matralok, the demons, Pishachas, ghosts, spirits, lunatics, and evil spirits, the good and evil stars, the goblins, the animals in the forest, the birds, the household animals, the reptiles, the mountains, the moving and standing living entities, the living entities born from embryos, from eggs, from perspiration, and from seeds, and all others, whether they be in water, land, or sky, in happiness, in distress, or in mixed happiness and distress. All of them, according to their past deeds, are created by the Supreme Lord.
Sattvam rajastam iti tistrah suranurnarakah tatrapyekaikasho rajan vidyante gatayasтрida yadaikaitaro nabhyam swabhava upahanyate.
According to the different modes of material nature, the modes of goodness, the modes of passion, and the mode of darkness, there are different living creatures who are known as demigods, human beings, and hellish living entities. O King, even a particular mode of nature being mixed with the other two is divided into three, and thus each kind of living creature is influenced by the other modes and acquires its habits also.
Sa avedam jagatata Bhagwan dharma rupadrak pushnati stapayam vishwam tiryanarasuradibhi.
He, the personality of Godhead, as the maintainer of all in the universe, appears in different incarnations after establishing the creation, and thus he reclaims all kinds of conditioned souls amongst the humans, the non-humans, and the demigods.
Tatkalagni rudratma yat shrishtam idam atmanah sanyaschati tatkale dananika तनानिकमिवालिनः.
Therefore, at the end of the millennium, the Lord himself, in the form of Rudra, the destroyer, will annihilate the complete creation as the wind displaces the clouds.
इत्थं भावेन कथितो भगवान् भगवात्माः नेतं भावेन हि परं द्रष्टुम् अर्हन्ति सूर्यः.
The great transcendentalists thus describe the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the pure devotees deserve to see more glorious things in transcendence beyond these features.
नस्य कर्माणि जन्मादौ परस्यानुविधीयते कर्तृत्व प्रतिषेधार्थ मया यरोपितं हि तत्.
There is no direct engineering by the Lord for the creation and destruction of the material world. What is described in the Vedas about his direct interference is simply to counteract the idea that material nature is the creator.
अयं तु ब्राह्मण कल्प सविकल्पा उदाहृतः विधि साधर्णौ यत्र सर्ग परकत वैकृत.
This process of creation and annihilation described in summary herein is the regulative principle during the duration of Brahma's one day. It is also the regulative principle in the creation of Mahat, in which the material nature is dispersed.
परिमाणं च काल्यस् कल्पलक्षणा विग्रहं यथा पुरास्तद्व्याख्यायसे पद्मं कल्पम् अथो शृणु.
Sorry, Mataji, can you just move it up a bit, please? Thank you. O King, I shall in due course explain the measurements of time in its gross and subtle features with the specific symptoms of each. But for the present, let me explain unto you the Padmakalpa.
शौनक उवाच यदह भावान् सुता पृष्ठात् भगवतो मतः भगवतोत्तमः चचारतीर्थानि कत्वा बन्धुनु सुरुसत्यजान.
Shaunaka Rishi, after hearing all about the creation, inquired from Sutta Goswami about Vidura. For Sutta Goswami had previously informed him how Vidur left home, leaving aside all his relatives who were very difficult to leave.
श्रुतुः कैशारवेत्तस्य संवेदो स्मृता यद्वासा भागवांस्तस्मै पृष्ठास्तत्त्वमुवाचः बृहिणास्तदिदं सौम्य विदुरस्य विशेषस्थितं बन्धुत्यागनिमित्तं च यथैव गात्वावं पुनः.
Shaunaka Rishi said, "Let us know, please, what topics were discussed between Vidur and Maitreya, who talked on transcendental subjects, and what was inquired by Vidura and replied by Maitreya. Also, please let us know the reason for Vidur's giving up the connection of his family members and why he again came home. Please also let us know the activities of Vidur while he was in the palaces of pilgrimage."
सुता उवाच राज्ञा परीक्षिता पृष्टो यद्वोचन्महानुमुनिः तद्वो वेदस्य शृणुत राज्ञा प्रश्नून सरथः.
Sri Sutta Goswami explained, I shall now explain to you the very subjects explained by the great sage in answer to King Parikshit's inquiries. Please hear them attentively.
Hi, Hare Krishna. Is that complete now?
Yeah, that was the last, 51.
All right, thank you very much. I'll just quickly share my screen. If you could just let me know you can see that, okay?
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhuji, we can see it.
Oh, thank you very much. Hare Krishna, everyone. Please take some humble obeisances. Oh, gosh, Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for reciting the Sanskrit, Puja Mataji, and for the English as well. Bhakti Nidhi Mataji. Very nicely recited. Thank you so much. We're going to be reading from Canto 2, Cosmic Manifestation, Chapter 10, Bhagavatam, is answers to all questions, and the verses we're going to be reading today is 41, 42, and 43. So I'll just show you the verses. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayan Namaskritcham Naram Chaiva Narotanam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraya Nastashro Bhadrashya Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatamutam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistaki. Jai Hare Krishna, everyone. My name is Krishna Govinda. Yes, thank you very much for joining the chat today for 8th of September 2024. Sattvam rajastama iti teshra suranya narakaha tatrapi ekeka shorajan vidyanti kadaya strita yadeke kataronyabhyam swa ubahayate. Oh, sorry. If I move it over the screen, you may not be able to see it. Okay, translation. According to the different modes of material nature, the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of darkness, there are different living creatures. While known as demigods, human beings, and hellish living entities, or king, even a particular mode of nature being mixed with the other two is divided into three, and thus each kind of living creature is influenced by the other modes and acquires its habits also. So just before I continue the purport, because there are three verses, with your permission, I'm just going to recite the introduction prayers, because there were some questions in between in the purport I wanted to ask you, or at least get everyone to participate if feasible. Om Jnana Timrandasya Jnana Jana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shivashakavatam Scha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Mancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaiva cha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devam Gauravani Pachayane Nivashesa Sanyavadi Paschachada Satarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you once again. I'll kindly offer my respects and obeisances to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to ask for His blessings, and to my spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Swami. And I also ask for the blessings for all the devotees participating, both senior and junior as well, so that I may be able to say something on the beautiful topics of Shri Radha and Krishna from the Srimad Bhagavatam. So going on to this particular verse 41 from Canto 2, Chapter 10. For the purport, the living entities individually are being conducted by a particular mode of nature, but at the same time, there is every chance of their being influenced by the other two. Generally, all conditioned souls in the material engagement are influenced by the mode of passion, because every one of them is trying to lord it over the material nature to fulfill his individual desire. But in spite of the individual mode of passion, there is always a chance of being influenced by the other modes of nature by association. One is in good association, it can develop the mode of goodness. And if in bad association, it may develop the mode of darkness or ignorance. Nothing is stereotyped. One can change his habit by good or bad association. One becomes intelligent enough to discriminate between the good and bad. The best association is the service of the devotees of the Lord. By that association, one can become the highest qualified man by the grace of the Lord's pure devotees. So just before I carry on with the purport, I just wanted to ask everyone, I'm going to be asking a question later on to see if you could give me an example of good association with a devotee, and what is the conclusion in such a situation, and also what happens if you are a devotee already and you have the association of a bad person, and what is the conclusion to that person at the end. But just to start off with, of course, we all know the three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. And here Srila Prabhupada explains that although the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and ignorance are three individual natures for each individual creature, but we're also influenced by one or the other. So you could be a creature or a living entity in the mode of goodness, but you could also be influenced by the mode of passion or ignorance. Similarly, if you're in the mode of passion, you can be influenced by the mode of goodness and ignorance. And similarly, in the mode of ignorance, you could also be encouraged, or at least have an association of something which is in the mode of goodness and passion. But here Srila Prabhupada explains that generally we're all in the mode of passion. And why is that? Because we generally want to be better than everyone else. We want to have the best of everything: the best car, the best house, the best partners, best ability to show that we are more superior than everyone else. And that, unfortunately, is known as false ego. And that false ego is also when we have pride, and then we become envious of other people because we see others who may be better off than ourselves. And then we want to see how we can surpass that particular person so that we get attention rather than that person. We see in human nature as well that every person that you meet, that they sort of have a particular nature. Even at work, you see somebody who may be very, very quiet, very humble. They may not be so Krishna conscious, but by nature, they're very, very soft-hearted, and it's so easy to speak to. They may not be even a vegetarian, but you see many people who are like that, and that's partly because of their previous life. They may have been a pious person already in the previous life, and in this lifetime, they're continuing on in their journey. Whereas other times, you see somebody who's very passionate, always have the authority of trying to be better than somebody else, somebody who wants to always push on and pass on all the work to you, and they want to get all the credit. They want to sort of surpass everybody else by influencing their bosses, by becoming a senior manager far quicker than everyone else. Or you may have that person who's very ignorant, it's just no inclination in working at all, no desire to sort of feel any need to work at all or help anybody at all. And when you do ask them for support or help, they sort of pass it on or get very aggressive or moody, say, no, I don't want to do this work, I've got my own work. And likewise, even in the devotee association, the nature is that we all want to become devotees of the Lord, but everybody has a different level of sincerity, development, or bhakti in their progress of spiritual journey. And the idea is that Prabhupada is saying that we should always try and associate with somebody who's in the mode of goodness, like a sadhu, somebody who's very, very dependent on the Supreme Lord. You see by his quality, by his nature, by his personality, the way he talks, the way he conducts different spiritual activities, devotional service. You become very, very engaged in feeling some sort of desire to support or even associate with that particular personality. It could be somebody who could give a very good class. Recently, we had the good fortune of Amarendra Prabhu give such a wonderful topic on Lord Krishna, the stories of Raja. We have wonderful devotees who do so much selfless service. Even at Janmashtami time, you're so surprised. There are pujaris who are actually doing the menial service of toilet cleaning during Janmashtami festival. Normally, nobody would want to even clean their own toilet because we just don't feel like there's any desire to do such a thing. But these pujaris, they could have been doing pujari service, but yet they've taken that humble step of saying, okay, fine, nobody wants to do the toilet cleaning. I'm happy to clean the toilet cleaning during the festival days. And as you know, the hundreds and thousands of people are using the toilets constantly, and it's not like a 5-minute job and it's clean and that's it. It gets dirty very quickly, very rapidly. It's not exactly the most exciting service you could do on a Janmashtami day when you could be absorbed in serving Krishna, the deity, doing puja service, doing cooking, doing book distribution. But yet these devotees are so humble that in their nature, they don't see any differences between doing puja service or book distribution or doing kirtan or singing. They're happy serving the devotees' lords. And one day I wish I could be like that as well. Unfortunately, I've got a long, long way to go. Now, I was going to ask the devotees listening, could you give me some examples of devotees or personalities in the Srimad Bhagavatam or Krishna book who had good association with brahmanas or yogis, and in their next life or in their current life, they became better devotees, better personalities, became devotees of the Lord. Anybody want to give a little example? Everybody's shy. Just give a little guess. Okay, who was Narada Muni in his previous life? Does anybody know? Are you all awake?
What was the question, Prabhuji?
Mataji, the question was, could you give an example within the Srimad Bhagavatam or Krishna book of a personality who had the association with another senior or respected personality, and by the influence of that particular personality, they themselves became devotees? There's many stories. Who is Narada Muni in his previous life? Anybody knows? Everybody's feeling very shy. Okay, I'll carry on reading then. Okay, I'll just read the previous sentence. The best association is the service of the devotees of the Lord. And by that association, one can become the highest qualified man by the grace of the Lord's pure devotee. As we have already seen in the life of Srila Narada Muni, he became the topmost devotee of the Lord simply by the association of pure devotees of the Lord. By birth, this is talking about his previous birth, he was the son of a maidservant and had no knowledge of his father and no academic education, even of the lowest status. But simply by associating with the devotees and by eating the remnants of the foodstuff, he gradually developed the transcendental qualities of the devotees. By such association, His taste for chanting and hearing the transcendental glories of the Lord became prominent. And because the glories of the Lord are non-different from the Lord, he got direct association with the Lord by means of sound representation. So previously, Narada Muni, who was the son of a maidservant, and the maidservant's duty was to cook for the brahmanas, wash all the vessels, utensils after they've had their prasadam. Narada Muni was such a young boy, and he'd be there as well, listening to the brahmanas, the munis, the yogis, talking about Krishna Katha, talking about all the beautiful glories, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as he did so, he also took the remnants of the wonderful, respected senior devotees. And by taking that remnants, he also became inclined to learn more about the wonderful glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in his next life, who did he become? He became Narada Muni. So it just shows you the potency of the association of the devotees. Now, when you read the Prabhupada Leela Amrita, you'll be absolutely so surprised. Many of these Westerners who were influenced by Srila Prabhupada's teachings, by Srila Prabhupada's personality, Srila Prabhupada's cooking, his chanting, his ability to know the Shastras very well, just by that close association with a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, they became so magnanimous in their own service. For instance, Brahmananda, he didn't have any idea of how to go about producing the book. In this case, Srila Prabhupada asked him to find out how much it'd be to produce a book, the Krishna book in this case. And Brahmananda, at the time, he said, Prabhupada, I don't know anything about books, printing, or anything at all. And what did Prabhupada say? Don't worry, Krishna will take care of it. And he somehow or another, he happened to come to one of the printers. It was a Japanese company called Nippon. And after discussing with some of the directors there, he explained about this particular Krishna book that his spiritual master wanted to print it. And they were very enthusiastic. And from there, he got the ability to arrange for the printing of the Krishna book. The Krishna book is one of the wonderful books that were printed in the early 60s. And it was before the Srimad Bhagavatam was actually printed. And it was, if you haven't read it already, but it's obviously the glories and the pastimes of the advent of Lord Krishna, the stories of Lord Balaram, and the Gopas and the Gopis in Vrindavan. And when he comes to Mathura to kill off Kamsa and then become the king of Dwarka as well. So there are many other personalities, even like if you look at Yendra Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada just instructed him once, please do this 24-hour kirtan in Vrindavan. And he took it seriously too hard. And because of Yendra Prabhu, this kirtan phenomena has taken to a greater level that has never been seen before. Of course, there was always kirtan, there was always sarti, there was always some sadhu sangha. But the way Ayendra Prabhu portrayed this kirtan Harinam in front of the Krishna Balaram Mandir, it became so popular spiritually that the phenomena was taken worldwide. And now you hear so many kirtan melas everywhere around the world, in America, Europe, England, Australia, Far East, India as well. Now, does anybody give me an example of somebody who was a devotee, but he associated with the wrong person and he fell down? Anyone?
That Karna Prabhu?
Yeah, very good. Who said that? Harivadan and Shobana.
Shobana.
Yeah, do you want to explain a little bit more? What was it about Karna that made him a great personality, but became who he was of the lower level?
I think he got drawn in by Duryodhan and his promises.
Yes.
He just changed completely from being a righteous, good person to a unrighteous person.
Yeah, that's right. Because Duryodhana was very envious of the Pandavas. And he didn't even want to give, when Krishna asked him to give 5 villages to the Pandavas, this is after they were exiled and they came back again. He refused. He said, I won't even give them a lamb which is the size of the tip of a pin. But because Duryodhana became very good friends with Karna, Karna was also very envious of Arjuna because he saw Arjuna as his arch rival, even though they were real brothers. Karna was born through Kunti Devi, through the mantras addressed to Vivashwan, and then Arjuna was born through Kunti Devi via the prayers to Lord Indradev. So really, they were brothers, but unfortunately, Karna didn't see that. Even when Queen Kunti actually went to see Karna to say, "Look, you're actually one of the brothers of the Pandavas as well," but he said, "Look, I can spare, you know." He said, "Look, I can't see myself being a brother to Arjuna. I'm happy to spare one person of the Pandavas, but I'm not happy to spare Arjuna at all." I think that he had a real grudge against Arjuna. And the other person, a great personality, was also Bhishma Dev. Now, Bhishma Dev, of course, is one of the Mahajans. Now, during the time of Draupadi being disrobed, Bhishma Dev could have actually done something about it. He was the most senior person there, even more senior than King Dhritarashtra, but they refused to do so. And when he was lying on this deathbed, about to die, and he was given instructions to Yudhishthira Maharaj, and Krishna was present there. While he was giving instructions to Yudhishthira Maharaj, he gave really good sort of practical advice, words of wisdom, which are also described in the cantos of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And at that time, Draupadi said to Bhishma Dev, "My dear Bhishma Dev, you're saying all these learned words, but why did you not say this at the time when this heinous act of me being disrobed in front of all the palace kings, all the royal princess was taking place?" And he admitted, "Please forgive me. The reason why this happened because I was so influenced by eating the grains of the food cooked by the gurus, and that because the gurus were envious, had so much hatred against Krishna, had hatred against the Pandavas. All the food that they cooked was contaminated, and because Bhishma Dev was eating that food, his mind became disturbed, his heart became filled with unwanted desires as well, and as a result, he became influenced by the bad association of the Kuru dynasty. Other good examples of devotees, or really perhaps personalities like Bhagrari the hunter, when he was actually influenced by Narada Muni, how he changed from killing the animals to taking care that, like even the ants which were crawling along the floor weren't stepped on when Narada Muni came to village, visit him again in this cottage. And another personality, I can't remember his name from his previous life, but in his next life he became Valmiki and was half killing all the animals, and he enjoyed killing the animals itself. And then Narada Muni said, "Please don't kill them at all, And then that particular hunter said, "Well, this is my nature. I have to kill them. That's why I'm associated with Mara." And then Narada Muni said, "Look, in that case, why don't you just keep reciting Mara, Mara, Mara?" And then when he did that, eventually Mara, 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 Mara became Rama, 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 Rama. And then in his next life, it became Valmiki. So this is an example for all of us that we should always try and be in association of good devotees. So I'll just carry on reading because we've only got a few minutes left. Similarly, there is a life of Ajamil, 6th canto, who was the son of a Brahmana and was educated and trained properly in the discharge of duties of a Brahmana, but who, in spite of all this, because he contacted the bad association of a prostitute, was put into the path of the lowest quality of Chandala, the last position for a human being. Therefore, the Bhagavatam always recommends the association of the Mahat, or the great soul, with the opening the gate of salvation. To associate with persons engaged in lording it over the material world means to enter into the darkest region of hell. One should try to raise himself by the association of a great soul. That is the way of the perfection of life. So here's another example of somebody who was actually a great devotee, a Brahmana, who followed and discharged all the duties of a Brahmana. His name was Ajamil, came from a very respected family, but when he came in contact with a prostitute, he completely polluted his mind. He even threw his own father and mother out from his own residence, and he had several children. He was involved in gambling, intoxication, all sorts of crime, different activities, cheating and lying against other people, stealing. But at the time of his death, he was very old. He was probably 90 years old, but he had a young boy by the name of Narayan, even though there was no connection for Ajamel to call him Narayan. But it was just that he just chose that particular name. There was a really nice story how he got that name Narayan. I can't remember, but somebody did tell me once or in one of the classes. But at the time of his death, then he called out the name of his beloved son Narayan, even though his said his name selflessly, even with his mind polluted with all sorts of unwanted desires, no sort of spiritual connectivity at all. But yet, it shows you how compassionate the Supreme Lord is. So even though he called out Narayan, referring to his own son, but the name of Narayan refers to also the great personality, Lord Vishnu Narayan, and the Yamadutas who are about to take Jamil away at the time of his death was saved by the Vishnudutas. And it goes on to say the wonderful story, Ajamil came to his senses after he saw the Vishnudutas, and he decided to give everything up, his family, his children, everything, just surrendered completely unto Krishna. And then when he did die, then the beautiful swan that came to take him back to the Vaikuntha planet with the assistance of the Vishnudutas. Okay, verse 42. Saivadam Jagatata Bhagavan Dhamarupadrik Pushnati Stapayan Vishvam Tiryan Nara Suradibi. Translation: He, the personality of Godhead, as the maintainer of all in the universe, appears in different incarnations after establishing the creation, and thus it reclaims all kinds of conditioned souls amongst the humans, the non-humans, and the demigods. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, incarnates himself in different societies of living entities to reclaim them from the clutches of illusion. And such activities of the Lord are not limited only to human society. He incarnates himself even as a fish, hog, tree, and many other forms. But less intelligent persons who have no knowledge of him deride him, even if he is in human society as a human being. The Lord therefore says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 11, Avajananti mamuda manusim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. As we have already discussed in the previous verses, just before I go on, does anybody know what this particular translation is to this particular verse, 9.11? Okay, I'll just share it with you. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. The reason why the Supreme Lord comes in different forms is to bewilder the human mankind. If he actually came as the Supreme Lord, even then, people will belittle him. They wouldn't really respect him. When Krishna went to Duryodhana just before the Battle of Kurukshetra to try and make peace between the Kauravas and the Pandavas, Duryodhana was reluctant to listen to anything Krishna was saying. As I mentioned, that he wasn't even happy to give him any piece of land the size of the tip of a pin. So then for some reason, he got very angry with Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna turned into his Virat Rupa form, his universal form, not the full universal form, but even a partial form, to show that he was the Supreme Lord to Duryodhana. But Duryodhana, because he was so blind, he could not actually see that nor acknowledge that Krishna was the Supreme Lord. So then his audacity was that he actually tried to get his soldiers to attack Krishna. And Krishna, of course, being the Supreme Lord, being friend of all living entities, he just laughed it off and just slayed all the guys, the Kshatriyas who tried to attack him. But it just shows you that even if the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes in front of you as the Supreme Lord, because of our conditioned mind, because of the envy, because of the mode of passion and ignorance within our hearts, we cannot really recognize the Supreme Lord. you see that many devotees who come to the temple, not necessarily devotees, anybody who comes to the temple, some who've never seen the Supreme Lord before them, they see the deity form of the Lord, and they may not be necessarily Hindus, but they're struck with awe and wonder. Wow, the beautiful forms. So Kripa Prabhu was telling us the story when he was in Vrindavan. Some Jewish family had come to Vrindavan, and when they were taking darshan of Krishna Balaram, Radha Shamsundar, Gonitai, just naturally tears came out from their eyes, and they couldn't understand why. And these weren't actually practicing devotees at all. They were just Westerners who happened to come to India, come to visit the temple Krishna Balaram Mandir. But yet others who have been devotees for many lifetimes, when they come in front of the Lord, it's very difficult to get tears out of their eyes. Even though we have that devotion, we have that inclination, we see that the Supreme Lord is in that multi form, but somehow or another, because we're still not on that favorable path of the Supreme Lord, we may have tinges of hatred, tinges of envy, lust, anger, who knows. But certainly, if we go step by step, slowly, all those bad qualities will diminish slowly, and the good qualities will become fructified. So carrying on that particular purport, as we have already discussed the previous verses, it is concluded that the Lord is never a product of the material creation. His transcendental position is always unchanged. He is the eternal form of knowledge and bliss, and he executes his almighty will by his different energies. As such, he is never the subject of reactions for any of his acts. He is transcendental to all such conceptions of actions and reactions. Even if he is visible in the material world, the exhibition is only of his internal energy, for he is above the good and bad conceptions of this material world. In the material world, the fish or the hog may be considered lower than the man, but when the Lord appears as a fish or a hog, is neither of them in the material conception. So, as a fish, he came as Lord Matsya to save the Vedas, and as a hog, he came as Lord Varaha to get Mother Earth, which was actually at the bottom of the Garbhodaksha Ocean, to bring it back into orbit itself. He is neither of them in the material conception. It is his causeless mercy that he appears in every society or species of life, but is never to be considered one of them. Conceptions of the material world, such as good and bad, lower and upper, important and insignificant, are estimations of the material energy. The Supreme Lord is transcendental to all such conceptions. The word Param Bhavan, or transcendent nature, can never be compared to the material conception. We should not forget that the potencies of the Almighty Lord are always the same and do not decrease because the Lord assumes the form of a lower animal. So when you actually read the story of Lord Varaha being attacked by Hiranyayaksha, the older brother of Hiranyakashipu, it describes the battle in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and yet Lord Varaha, in the form of a boar, transcendental boar, is actually just play fighting with Hiranyayaksha. Even though he's taking some blows from Hiranyaksha's weapon, he does not need to. He could just slay him with just one swift of his own club. But yet the Lord, being very, very friendly and wants to sort of deal in some sportive activities, he allows him to be attacked by Hiranyaksha. Because he's the Supreme Personality of God, it is considered to be non-different from Krishna or Lord Rama. But because he may have the form of a boar, or say in the case of Matsya, the form of a fish, or Kurma in the form of a tortoise, Srila Prabhupada is explaining they're not considered to be any less in qualities, in fame, or any sort of detail to the Supreme Personality of Godhead as described in the Puranas. But because we have a spiritual connection with the Supreme Lord in the form of Radha Krishna, there is obviously some sort of consideration when we actually worship Radha and Krishna in that particular form. But when you go to India, there are many, many beautiful temples around India, which actually depicts these wonderful personalities, the Dasavatars of the Supreme Lord. So there is no difference between Lord Sri Rama and Lord Sri Krishna in his incarnation as a fish and a hog. is all-pervading and simultaneously localized at any and every place. But the foolish person with a poor fund of knowledge who for want of that param bhavam of the Lord, or that supreme nature of the Lord, cannot understand how the Supreme Lord can take the form of a man or a fish. One compares everything to one's own standard of knowledge. As the frog in the well considers the sea to be like the well, the frog in the well cannot even think of the sea. And when such a frog is informed of the greatness of the sea, takes the conception of the sea as being a little greater than the well. As such, one who is foolish about the transcendental science of the Lord, find it difficult to understand how Lord Vishnu can equally manifest himself in every society of living entities. The final verse 43. Taha kalagni rudratma yat shrishtam idam saniyachyati tatkale gana nikam ivanilaha. Translation. Thereafter, at the end of the millennium, the Lord himself is the form of Rudra, the Lord Destroyer, would annihilate the complete creation as the wind displaces the clouds. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This creation is very appropriately compared to clouds. Clouds are created or situated in the sky, and when they are displaced, they remain in the same sky without manifestation. Similarly, the whole creation is made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In his form of Brahma, it is maintained by him in the form of Vishnu. It is destroyed by him in the form of Rudra or Shiva, when in due course. This creation, maintenance, and destructions are nicely explained in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verses 19 and 20 as follows. Bhuta gramaha saiva yam, bhuta bhutva pralayate, ratri agame vashaha partha, prabhavati ahar agame, padastasmatu bhavotnyo, vyakto vyaktat sadantana, yasa yahasa saveshu bhuteshu, nashat sudna vinashyati. Just for time, I'll just share you the translation. Translation. Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being. With the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. In verse 20, yet there is another unmanifest nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. The nature of the material world is that it is first created very nicely, then it develops very nicely and stays for a great number of years, even beyond the calculation of the greatest mathematician. But after that, it is again destroyed during the night of Brahma, without any resistance. At the end of the night of Brahma, it is again manifested as a creation to follow the same principles of maintenance and destruction. The foolish conditioned soul, which taketh this temporary world as a permanent settlement, has to learn intelligently why such a creation and destruction takes place. The fruitive actors in the material world are very enthusiastic in the creation of big enterprises, big houses, big empires, big industries, so many big things out of the energy and ingredients supplied by the material agent of the Supreme Lord. With such resources and at the cost of valuable energy, the conditioned soul creates, satisfies its whims, but unwillingly must depart from all its creations, enter into another phase of life to create again and again. To give hope to such foolish conditioned souls who waste their energy in this temporary material world, the Lord gives information that there is another nature which is eternally existent without being occasionally created or destroyed, and that the conditioned soul can understand what he should do and how his valuable energy may be utilized. Instead of wasting his energy in matter, which is sure to be destroyed in due course by the Supreme Will, the conditioned soul should utilize his energy in this devotional service of the Lord, so that it can be transferred to the other eternal nature, where there is no birth, no death, no creation, no destruction, but permanent life instead, full of knowledge and unlimited bliss. The temporary creation is thus exhibited and destroyed just to give information to the conditioned soul who is attached to temporary things. It is also meant to give him a chance for self-realization and not for sense gratification, which is the prime aim of all fruitive activists. Hare Krishna, thank you very much to all of you for listening and participating. Very much appreciated. Please forgive me for any mistakes I've made. I'm going to pass out to Shriji Kishore Mataji for the wonderful singer to sing today's bhajan. If I could be excused, I've got to pick up my son now from the airport. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, today's bhajan is Sri Radha Kripa Kataksha Stava Raja. And I'll be reading the English translation first before Shriya Mataji sings the bhajan. It's a beautiful bhajan. And I can see the lyrics on the screen now, the English translation. Hare Krishna. O you who are adorned by the leaders of multitude of sages, O you who takes away the miseries of the three worlds, O you whose face joyfully blooms like a lotus flower, O you who delights in playing love sports throughout the secret forest bower houses, O most charming daughter of Vrishabhanu, beloved of the king of Brija, Sri Krishna, O you who are always associated with the king of Braja, Sri Krishna, when, oh, when will you make me the object of your sidelong glance of causeless mercy? O you who dwells in a pavilion with a canopy of creepers spread over the branches of Ashoka trees, O you whose soft, delicate feet radiate the pink coral color of freshly sprouted tree buds, O you whose upraised hand bestow the benediction of fearlessness, O you who are the source of divine opulences, when, oh, when will you make me the object of your sidelong glance of causeless mercy? O you, with a bow of Cupid, your delightful, auspicious, crooked, bending eyebrows, you shoot your arrow messages of love from the corners of your eyes, which cause the charming son of Nanda to be struck with amorous delusions of noble submission to you for all eternity. Oh, when will you make me the object of your sidelong glances of causeless mercy? O you, whose golden form is brilliantly effulgent, like lightning and champaka flowers. O you, whose effulgent face eclipses the beauty of millions of full autumn moons. O you, whose restless eyes are like chakora partridges, moving to and fro. Oh, when will you make me the object of your sidelong glances of causeless mercy? O you, who are an extremely joyful, love-happy youth. O you, who are decorated with a great happiness of love, intoxicated jealousy, pouting, and anger. O you, who has extreme pure loving affection for your beloved Sri Krishna. O you, the most expert in all the various acts of amorous love. O you, the most learned in arranging amorous pastimes of pure love in super opulent secret bower houses in the best of forests. Oh, when will make me the object of your sidelong glances of causeless mercy, O you who are decorated with a diamond necklace of a limitless variety of feminine charms, like artistic amorous gestures, ecstatic loving moods, and gentle mannerisms. O you whose incomparable ecstatic love makes your perfect breasts very plump like golden water jugs, or like the temple mounds of a young elephant. O you whose enchanting, mild, sweet smile is like a line of flower pollen on the ocean of joy. When, oh, when will you make me the object of your sidelong glances of causeless mercy? O you whose arms are like fresh creepers of lotus stems, playfully swaying in waves of the river of your youthful pastimes. O you whose seductive, very dark blue Nila eyes are like the tip of a creeper blown by a gentle breeze. O you whose playful sports and alluring movements so enchant Mohan Krishna that he appears hypnotized by you into wonderful meetings. Oh, when will you make me the object of your sidelong glance of causeless mercy? O you smooth conch shell-like neck marked with 3 lines is decorated with a pure gold necklace. O you whose 3-strand necklace of woven jasmine garlands decorated with diamonds, emeralds, and pearls radiates splendid effulgence. O you whose every dark blue Neela braids of hair are interwoven the bunches of flowers. When, oh when, will you make me the object of your sidelong glance of causeless mercy? O you whose round hips are decorated with a belt of dangling flowers, O you whose charmingly thin waist is decorated by a belt of tiny tinkling jeweled bells, O you whose beautifully shaped legs taper gracefully from your thighs like the trunk of the king of elephants. When, oh when, will you make me the object of your sidelong glance of causeless mercy? O you whose captivating ankle bells make the sounds of various kinds of divine mantras, resembling a group of royal swans singing. O you whose extreme super excellent movements put to shame the swaying of a golden creeper. Oh, when will you make me the object of your sidelong glance of causeless mercy? O you who is humbly worshipped by all the Lord Brahmas in unlimited millions of universes created by Lord Vishnu. O you who is the bestower of benedictions to the daughter of the Himalayas, Parvati, Shiva's wife, the daughter of Paluma, Sachi, Indra's wife, and to Brahma's wife, Saraswati. O you whose toenails glow with the radiance of boundless mystic perfections and opulences, when, oh, when will you make me the object of your sidelong glance of causeless mercy? O goddess, leader of Vedic sacrifices, O goddess, leader of pious activities, O goddess, leader of spontaneous devotional service, O goddess, leader of all the demigods and goddesses, O goddess, leader of all knowledge in the 3 Vedas, O goddess, leader of enforcing scriptural principles, O goddess, leader of all goddesses of fortune, O goddess, leader of forgiveness, O goddess, leader of the pleasure forest of Vrindavan, O goddess, leader of Vraja, O one and only authority who regulates entrance into Vraja, O Sri Radhika, I offer my most respectful obeisances unto you. May Sri Vrishabhanu Nandini, upon hearing my astonishing prayer recited, bestow her most merciful sidelong glances upon the speaker. At that time, one will feel all the effects of past, present, and future karma completely destroyed and gain entrance into the assembly of Nanda Nandana's Krishna's eternal loving devotees. That aspiring devotee who chants this prayer on the full moon day, waxing 8th lunar day, 10th lunar day, 11th lunar day Ekadashi, and 13th lunar day will find that his mind and intelligence become pure. Each and every desire will be fulfilled without fail, and by the most merciful sidelong glance of Sri Radha, one will obtain pure ecstatic love, prema. The aspiring devotee who recites this prayer 100 times while in the waters of Sri Radhakund up to the thighs, navel, chest, or neck attains complete perfection in religiosity, economic development, fulfillment of desires and liberation, the power by which everything spoken will come true, and great opulence from attaining transcendental majesty. At that time, one gets to meet Sri Radhika face to face, seeing her even with one's own present eyes, and Sri Radhika becomes so pleased that she instantly bestows the greatest benediction of being able to see her own beloved Shyam Sundara Krishna with one's present eyes. Then Lord Krishna, the Lord of Vrajadham, grants one entrance into his eternal ecstatic pastimes, which is the only goal for which true Vaishnavas hanker. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for reciting the translations. It's so beautiful that I've still got goosebumps while listening to the translation itself. Thank you so much. So this is Shri Shri Radhika Kripa Kataksh Stvara Raja, and it was spoken by Lord Shiva to Parvati in the Tantra name Urdhava Manya Tantra. And this is most famous stotra in Sri Vrindavan. All the sadhus and devoted Matajis and ladies who knows it by heart, and it is recited daily in most temples in Vrindavan and nearby villages. And this prayer is regarded as very heart of Vrindavan, and it is also known as the king of the prayers, which petitions the most merciful sidelong glance from Srimati Radhika Rani. Thank you. मुनीन्द्रवृन्दवन्दिते त्रिलोकशोकहारिणि प्रसन्नवक्त्रपङ्कजे निकुञ्जभूविलासिनि व्रजेन्द्रभानुनन्दिनी व्रजेन्द्रसूनुसङ्गते कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् अशोकवृक्षवल्लरि वितानमण्डपस्थिते प्रवालवल्लपल्लव प्रभारुणाङ्गरी कोमले वराभयस्फुरतरे प्रभूतसम्पदालये कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् अनङ्गरङ्गमङ्गल प्रसङ्गभङ्गुरे भुवां सविप्रवं सभ्रमं मृगन्तपानपातने निरन्तरं वशीकृतापतीति नन्दनन्दने कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् तडित् सुवर्णचम्पक प्रदीप्तगौरविग्रहे मुखप्रभापराष्टकोटि शारदेन्दुमण्डले विचित्रचित्रसञ्चरचकोरशावलोचने कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् मदोन्मदातियावने प्रमोदमन्नमण्डिते प्रियानुग्रारण्डिते कलाविलासपण्डिते अनन्यधन्यकुञ्जराज्यकामधेलिकोविदे कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् अशेषहावभावधीर हीरहारभूषिते प्रभूतशातकुम्भकुम्भ
कुम्भिकुम्भशोस्तने प्रशस्तमण्डहास्यचूर्णपूर्णशुक्यसागरे कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनं मृणालवालवल्लरी तरङ्गरङ्गदोलते लताग्रलास्यलोलनीललोचनावलोकने ललल्लुलन्नमोघमोहनाश्रिते कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनं सुवर्णमालिकञ्चित त्रिरेखकम्बुकण्ठगे त्रिसूत्रमङ्गलीगुण त्रिरत्नदीप्तिदीधिते कलोलनीलकुण्डले प्रसन्न गुच्छगुम्फिते कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनं नितम्बबिम्बलम्बमानपुष्पमेखलागुणे प्रशस्तरत्नकिङ्किणी कलापमध्यमञ्जुले करीन्द्रशृङ्गधन्यकावरोह सौभगोरखे कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् अनेकमन्त्रनाद मञ्जुनुपुरारवस्खलत् समाजराजहंसवंस निकवनति गौरवे विलोलहे विडम्बिचारु विचारुचङ्क्रमे कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् अनन्तकोटिविष्णुलोकनम्रपद्मजार्चिते हिमाद्रिजा पुलोमजा विरिञ्चि जावराप्रदे अपार से धीरे धीरे घसतता गुलीनखे कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् मखेश्वरी क्रियेश्वरी स्वदेश्वरी सुरेश्वरी त्रिवेदभारतीश्वरी प्रमाणशासनेश्वरी रमेश्वरी क्षमेश्वरी प्रमोद काननेश्वरी व्रजेश्वरी व्रजाधिपे श्रीराधिका नमोऽस्तु ते इति ममाद्भुतं स्वं निशम्य भानुनन्दिनी करोतु सन्ततं जनं कृपाकटाक्षभाजनं भवेत् तदेव सञ्चिते त्रिलोककर्मनाशनम् भवेत् तदा व्रजेन्द्रसूनुमण्डल प्रवेशनं कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनं कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनं कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Riya Mataji. Absolutely beautifully sung. Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, Hari Bol. So, dear devotees, we've come to the end of today's Chad class. And I know that Krishna Govinda Prabhuji has left. And so what we'll do now is say the Vaishnav prayer together. And then we'll end the program. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you, Mataji.